questions in, type questions in at any stage throughout the presentation, and also, as I said, at the end we'll have Q&A too. All right, a few things I want to go through first before I get into the actual top 10 foods. And the first one is, as you see on the screen now, the word diet. And I just want to clarify that you should never be focused on going on a diet. Okay, everyone always at the start of the year, or if they've got a wedding or leading up to the holidays, it's all about, I'm going to go on a diet. Diets don't work. Basically, if you look at the first 3 letters of diet, D-I-E, die, that's pretty much what happens to your body when you go on a diet. So your typical conventional diet where you're cutting out everything, you're really depriving yourself, you're living on 500 calories a day, doing something crazy like that. It's not realistic, it's not sustainable. And you, like we want fast results. We all want fast results, but don't sacrifice, the chance of having long-term results just to get fast results, okay? And this is where diet and weight loss, they're words that are bad words. Again, like weight, focus on fat loss, okay? That's why I said in the webinar about foods that will start accelerating your fat loss, not weight loss. So focus on fat loss, because I don't care if you're pretty lean or if you're like 30 stone overweight, you want to lose fat off your body, okay? Everyone wants to get a bit leaner, everyone wants to gain a bit of muscle. It's the same, just in varying degrees depending where you're at. So don't ever go on a diet. Don't be tempted by it. It doesn't work, and it will leave you in a worse position than you were in the first place. Okay? And does that make sense to everybody? In terms of why that is? So again, why you shouldn't go on a diet? Does that make sense? Okay. Good, because it's important, because so many people don't really understand it. Okay, great. Yeah, lots of yeses. Perfect. All right. Right, next one I want to go through before we get on to our foods is fat-free. So tell me, do you think you're better off to go fat-free products or not? Fat-free or full fat? Let's have a vote here. I know some of you know the answer from being one of our clients. Let me see what we got here. We've got a mixture. We've got a That's from Michelle, I think. Okay. The answer is that fat-free, again, like a lot of the food industry, like what I'll be sharing with you, a lot of the food industry, they're not telling you the truth. There's a lot of lies there. And fat-free is basically a con in the majority of it, okay? Because what you're doing, simple way I usually explain it is, if you've got a yogurt, you take a fat-free yogurt. So normal yogurt, fat-free yogurt, okay? And the normal yogurt tastes yummy. So you're eating and you think, oh, this is delicious. Then you go and take your fat-free yogurt. What they've done is they've taken out all the fat. Now, if you take all the fat out of that yogurt, the original yogurt, how do you think it'll taste? The fat is what gives it a lot of taste and texture, and satisfaction and so on. If you take that out, it's not going to taste that nice anymore. So what they'll do is they take out fat, they'll load in a lot more sugars and chemicals and additives and so on, because it has to taste nice. If it doesn't taste nice, you're not going to consume it. So I always tell clients, you're better off in 99% of the cases to get the original product versus getting the fat-free product, low-fat product, 90% fat-free, and so on and so on. Because once it's been treated, it's usually not treated in the right way. It's usually adding more bad stuff to it. So taking out something that's natural, again, you shouldn't be eating lots of bad fats, but it's natural products, it's natural food source. Take that out, add in chemicals, that's not good either. Adding more sugars and all different types of sugars, that's not good either. So stick to the real one. And another one, while I think of it, is like Coke. Who thinks, who would think you should drink Coke or Diet Coke? Which should you go for? So let's look into the answers. Michelle, confirm now what you meant by not true for meat though. Not sure what you meant by that. Ed, that's a good answer. But again, we're assuming for people who will drink one or the other. Okay, Michelle, you the same. So some people saying neither, which is true. Got a lot of people saying neither. Let me see. Let me see here. Yeah, some people know the answer because I've told them before. Okay, got a lot of very health conscious people here saying neither. Okay, so the answer is full normal Coke, because again, you take the normal Coke, it's got a lot of sugar, some chemicals, and so on. It's not good for you, not at all. If you take Diet Coke, there's less sugar, there's more chemicals. Take Zero Coke, there's no sugar, there's even more chemicals. So they're worse and worse and worse. Again, great marketing. All right. So that was your little quiz. Michelle, in terms of like meat, in terms of being low fat and fat free, you know, it's impossible pretty much for them to be fat free. They have natural fats. When they say that, usually that doesn't have fat, like, you know, along it. So there's less fat on the physical meat. But like meat is naturally high in fat, especially red meat. So when it says low fat, I'd be a bit wary about what it means. Probably be wary of quality as well. Okay, we've got a lot of answers there. Good stuff. All right. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. So a few things I want to say to you first. Like, you know, we're on about how to burn fat, and I want always stress to people, again, like I said at the start, it's not just about getting fast results. We want fast results. We want long-term results, okay? Don't want a yo-yo diet. Don't want to turn against exercise because you're sick of it and you find it too hard. We want to do a plan, do a program that you will adhere to and stick to long-term, okay? So, you know, the choice is basically, in terms of the choices you make and how you look and how your optimal health is, you know, you can either look like this guy or look like this woman, or you can look like this. Now, it's a pretty easy choice which you want to look at, I presume, yeah? Who prefers, no, wrong one. Okay, A or B? Again, easy. You never know, someone might be very different. So A or B? A being very overweight and obese, B is looking nice and toned and lean and healthy. That's important too. Okay, it's not all about body image. It's not just about body image. It's very important for you to focus on your shape too, okay, and your health. It's all important, every part of it. Lean and sexy, Patrick says, exactly. Okay, B, good. Okay, so mostly Bs. Again, I'd be very surprised if we got any A's there. Okay, because the thing is, this is where the thing about health is, and this is where the fast results versus long-lasting results. Fast results, even though you might look great after a couple of weeks or a couple of months, you could still be prone to getting something like a heart attack or getting diabetes or getting cancer. And a lot of people have actually contracted these lifestyle diseases because of their diet and their yo-yo dieting and their lifestyle habits. And some people, this has even been the end result. So it's very important for you, again, to keep thinking long-term, keep making changes. And that's where in our webinars, we're always stressing to you to take the information on board and start making changes. You know, having all this knowledge is useless. Like all of you who are on the webinars every single week, it's useless having information unless you implement it. Okay, so make sure you're implementing it. And this is what you can have. You can have a vibrant, healthy, fulfilling life, and that's what we all want. You know, we all want to have, you know, great people in our lives, or be partners and kids and friends and family, and we want to be able to do what we want, to be energetic and, you know, be able to get through our day and have a super productive day and so on. And that's what we want out of life. So, you know, it's important for you to make the right choices and do things in a healthy way. Don't do things in a quick fix. Quick fix does not work. You have to exercise correctly and consistently, and you have to eat correctly and consistently. Again, you are human. You're going to break out sometimes, but once you're breaking out only every so often, that's okay. You're going to skip a workout every so often. But again, once in the course of a year, you're exercising most days of the week, 48, 50 weeks of the year, great, okay? And what ultimately everything is determined by, again, is control, get control over your life, and then taking action and based on when you have to control and then achieve results, and make sure you're always pointing the finger at yourself. Don't ever play the blame game in anything. Your ill health, your lack of energy, your lack of a lean body, you know, any of these different things, bad sleep, whatever they are, you can blame other things, but just look at yourself. Look at what you're doing. Can you be doing more to improve? Can you be doing more to have better health? Can you be doing more to get leaner? Can you be doing more to have more energy? And that's what you need to focus on all the time. Okay? So basically my promise to you after this presentation is basically that you're going to know 10 foods that you need to add to your nutrition plan if you're not already doing so. You're going to understand why they're beneficial for fat burning, because that's the title of the webinar, but more importantly, really, you're going to understand why they're so important for your health in general. Okay, so fat burning, but also health in general. And you're going to know 10 foods that are going to increase your longevity, increase your chances of preventing killer diseases, and also again accelerating fat loss, skyrocketing energy levels, and just ultimately achieving optimal health, because that's what we all want to get. So tell me, are you ready to find out the 10 foods that are going to strip fat from your body? So again, the more interaction you have, the more I feel like giving more information. So let's just get interactive here. I want to make sure everyone's alive, everyone's listening to me. Ready for launch, Brian in London says. Good stuff. Bring it on. Ready? Okay, good stuff. Okay, what I want to do before I get into it is, just out of interest, fire in foods that you think are good fat-burning foods. I want to hear that first. So what foods do you feel are fat-burning foods? Just give one or two. I don't mean give a big mad list. Give even one. So I want to get an idea of what people are saying, and then I'm going to go through the 10 that I have. Okay. I'm not going to give the answers here. You'll kind of know as I'm doing the presentation. Some of you have got some right. Some of you are way off. Michelle, being very honest, doesn't know. I think it's Michelle anyway. I can just see the start of the name. Okay, good. Some of you who are in our boot camps and our coaching programs, you can see that you're learning by your answers. Ha! Good one. Wish it was chocolate. Don't we all? Okay, good. Lots of just looking through the answers, guys, because it's important for me to see your interaction. All right, let's go. So here's the first one. All right, make sure to take plenty of notes, ask plenty of questions. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start with essential fat-containing foods. Okay, so this is what's important: essential fat-containing foods, and the ones I recommend you to take would be avocados and any form of nuts and nut butters. Okay, now if you eat fish, oily fish such as salmon, trout, mackerel will also give it to you. In terms of essential fats, that is. But as many of you know, I promote a vegan lifestyle, vegan plant-based lifestyle. So these would be the source I would promote. But as I said, if you're into eating animal-based products, oily fish such as salmon, trout, mackerel will also have the same kind of benefits. And the reason is that essential fatty acids are very important to your body for many, many reasons, including like your mind. This is where it's important for me to talk about health too, not just fat burning, because it helps you burn fat, but also helps with your brain and your concentration, your memory, keeping your joints lubricated and oiled, your eyes healthy, your skin really healthy and glowing and vibrant. And then from a fat burning point of view, it increases your fat burning, because what happens is if you eat a lot of essential fat containing foods, it will basically switch on your fat burning gene and hormone. Okay? If you don't eat any essential fat containing foods, it won't. They'll be shut down. Okay? So if you don't eat any of these foods, you're really limiting the amount of fat you're going to burn. If you're eating lots of these foods, you're accelerating the amount of fat you're going to burn. Okay? So it's very important for you to eat these, and eat plenty of them each day. Like I would eat a good portion of these every single day. Okay? And it's not that hard to do it. Like avocados, some people love them, just eat them with a spoon. I'm not that fond of them. What I'll do with them is I'll throw them into a salad, or I'll have them in a sandwich or a pita bread, or I'll throw them into a smoothie. They're great in a smoothie because they give it great texture, really creamy, ice creamy texture. And also you're getting good protein, you're getting good essential fats into your system at the same time. And when you're having, say, a fruit smoothie in particular, it's very important to slow the release of those sugars that are released from the fruits in the smoothie. And by having a protein source like this, an essential fat containing source like this in your smoothie, you're really slowing down that release. And by slowing that release, you're limiting the amount of insulin that's going to get released, okay, in your body, into your bloodstream. And if your insulin is being released really fast and there's a lot of spikes and it's up and down, what happens is your body will start storing fat. That's where people who have very high sugar diets, that can even come from natural diets, like, or when I say diet, nutrition plan, natural nutrition plans to have a lot of fruit, that's still sugar, even though it's natural sugar. And what will happen is it's going to cause your body to store fat. So these foods are, on their own, help you to burn more fat because they contain a lot of essential fats. But also the fact that they will slow down the amount of sugar and insulin release in your body after consuming fruits in particular, or any high sugar foods, makes a big difference. So it's like if you're going to have a banana, it's good, it's very healthy for you. better off to have a banana and a few nuts than to have just a banana. Or if you're going to have a smoothie of, say, berries and banana, what else might you put into it? Say strawberry, any form of berries, banana, and so on. If you put an avocado in, that's better than not putting it in. So even though it's more food, it's better. And also because these are high fat containing foods. Now this is the thing, people are always trying to avoid fat. There's different kinds of fat. There's good fat and there's bad fat. Bad fat is bad fat. Trans fats and saturated fats are not good for you. They have no good role in the body and they cause a lot of fat storage and they're very unhealthy for your heart and so on. All many different reasons you shouldn't consume them or at least limit it. Whereas essential fats very different. As I said, a lot of health benefits, but also increase your fat burning. All right, does that make sense, everybody, in terms of why these foods are foods you should eat? And as well, like some people will say, nuts, what kind of nuts can you eat? Any nut. The only things with nuts you can't eat is if it's covered in chocolate or yogurt or covered in, say, something like chili powder or it's salted or dry roasted or something like that, okay? So it's normal nuts. And if you like sweetness, sweet nuts would be, for instance, like the cashews. Saltier nuts would be like the pistachios. Things like peanuts are a little bit plain. Cashews are also great in stir fries, okay? Now let me see here. Some questions. Almond butter is probably the best one overall. Michelle's just asking here, is almond butter better than peanut butter? Almond butter is probably the best of all of them. It's got the best nutrients, lots of iron and calcium and a lot of essential fats and protein, and it's really, really good from that point of view. Like almond milk is really, really good, and especially good as a non-dairy alternative. But almonds are great, but as well it's good to cycle them. Like I use almond butter and peanut butter and cashew butter and hazelnut butter. I think the main ones I've used, and I'd be eating all the different ones. But a lot of them, like pecans, I don't really like them, or walnuts, but what I do is I throw them into things like pasta or stir fries. Okay? Who's this? So it's drinking almond milk. Yeah, almond milk is beautiful. And I'll tell you a bit more in a short while why you definitely need to be drinking almond milk or such milks. So everyone okay with that? Everyone clear on why they need to be eating these foods? These first two foods? Or classify them as essential fat containing foods. Okay, good stuff. Right, next one is going to surprise you. If it's, this is the one. Water. Now, whoever thought water was a food? But it is really. Food basically is something that your body needs. Your body needs to survive, okay? And there isn't anything your body needs to survive more than water. All right? We're basically, if you didn't know, we're 73% water. And our brain is actually 83% water, okay? Now, if we're 73% water, how vital do you think water is to our body and how it functions in terms of our brain function, our endocrine system, our digestive system, our excretory system, and how important you think it is to even like our eyes and our ears and every part of our body, our cell regeneration. It's absolutely crucial, okay? So in terms of being a fat-burning furnace, which is what we all want to be, your body needs to be working at its optimum. And if it's not working at its optimum, then you're not going to be burning fat as much as you can. So it's like you could be eating all the right foods, some of your typical foods, you could be doing all the right exercise, you could be getting great sleep, but if you're dehydrated, your results can be very minimal, okay? Because like I said, your muscles in your body are 73% water. So it's really important to drink lots and lots of water. I recommend people to drink 4, 5, even 6 liters of water a day. I drink about 6 a day. Now, it doesn't mean that you go to the toilet very frequently, but it's worth it because it's very important in terms of getting your body working very, very efficiently, okay? So make sure you drink a lot of water, and if you're not drinking much now, say if you're drinking half a litre, your goal for next week should be to drink 1 litre. If you're drinking 1.5 litre, then goal to have 2 litres. Again, don't run before you can walk, okay? So it's like I said to start, make steps in the right direction. Like with water, steps in the right direction. And if you need something in it to make it taste a little better, a bit of lemon, slice of lemon, for instance, or slice of orange, or even a bit of like mawadi or those kind of little sweeteners, just a drop of it. Anything that will help you to drink it, or some people will like it hot. So it's important just because your body is made up of it. That's one reason. Another reason is when you drink water, it satisfies you because it fills you and fills your stomach more. So when you're more full of water, you're less likely to eat. Okay, so for instance, half an hour before your dinner. That's 30 minutes to those who don't understand half an hour. 30 minutes before your dinner, you should drink maybe 2 or 3 glasses of water. Your body's going to feel reasonably satisfied, so that's going to make you less likely to eat a lot when you go to eat. Okay, so water is a big reason, or a big benefit from that point of view too. Okay, probably the most important benefit of it from a fat burning point of view is it detoxifies, and it's the most important thing to detoxify. You see people doing all these mad detoxifying diets and plans and colonics and all this kind of stuff, okay? And they all have their merits, but simple thing to do is just drink lots of water. Like way I drink 6 liters, I'm going to the toilet all the time. That's basically my body just flushing out the toxins. When I'm eating, even though I eat really, really well, everything has toxins in it these days. There's toxins with the pollution and everything that's around us as well. So my body's constantly flushing out these toxins out of my system, okay? So by doing that, if you have toxins in your system, it slows the way your body works. Your body can't work again as efficiently as it should. It can't break down fat as much as it should. It ends up storing fat a lot more. It can't transport the energy around your body. It's just so, so important, okay? So it helps to detoxify you. It helps to satisfy you and fill you, so it stops you eating as much. And it's just so super important for us to stay hydrated. Plus as well, if you're hydrated, you get to perform better in your exercise. So when you're exercising, you actually burn more fat, burn more calories, because you're able to put in more effort. Okay, so this is where, again, it's so, so important for you to make sure you're drinking lots of water. So let me just have a quick look here to see the type of questions are coming in here. So keep firing any questions in, guys. That's a good point as well. Patrick's just saying, in fact, for mammals who evolved from aquatic species also comes into the equation. Yeah, very true. Let me see here. Must never be able to embark on a long car journey for fear of being caught short. It's one thing. That's one thing that, okay. Oh yeah, I get you. Yeah, like, but that was, well, your body starts getting a bit used to it as well, okay? Once you get used to it, you're not as frequent, but at the same time, it's more important for me to keep my body hydrated than the discomfort of having to go to the toilet a lot. In terms of your water content, good question, Tracy. Tracy's asking here, does water content in veg count towards your water content? You are getting water in from eating your veg and the watery fruits, definitely, so that's extra water. That's why it's important to eat them. But don't count that inside your water intake, okay? I would still say to take 4, 5, 6 liters of actual water into your body a day. Should you drink water at times when not eating? Definitely. You should actually drink water at times when not eating. That's the most important time. So it's even try not to drink water during a meal. Again, it's a habit that we've all grown up with mainly. But what happens is when you're drinking water, because again, its goal is to get in there and grab toxins and take it out. What happens is a lot of the good food comes out too. So say if you're eating your dinner and you're drinking water at the same time, you're actually taking a lot of nutrients out of your body because water's going in, grabbing them and taking them out. So you're best to drink water before and then maybe half an hour afterwards, okay? So I'll always have 2 or 3 glasses of water maybe 30 minutes before my meal, and then I'll start drinking water again about an hour after. But I'll also drink lots of water when I wake up. Like I'll have at least 1 to 1.5 liters of water straight away when I wake up because I haven't had water in 7 or 8 hours, okay? But in terms of what you're saying here, in terms of if you're on a 2-hour car journey, you don't dare to drink water before you set off. Yeah, and you have to go to the toilet a lot more, so you don't want to, that's fine. So what you do, say if you're on a car journey and you know you're not going to have access to a toilet, for instance, what you do then is make sure you drink a lot of water like leading up to it, you know, a few hours before. So say if you're going off on a journey at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, drink loads when you get up, and then maybe within 2 hours or so of going, don't drink any more. Just kind of sip a bit as you're going, and then what you do is when you get to your destination, drink loads of it again. All right. Michelle, in terms of ice water, yeah, like it'll hydrate you for sure, but it doesn't have to be room temperature. It doesn't really matter, you know, just once it's good water. You can get like all kinds of different water. Like I drink alkaline ionized water, so it's the best water you can get. So the better water you can get, the better. but the key thing is drinking water. Get it into. All right, so everyone okay with the water? Everyone happy enough that they understand why they should be drinking lots of water? And how do you understand it from a health point of view and a fat burning point of view as well? Because again, it's key that you understand that point of it. Okay, right, next one. What are we on to next? Okay, fruits, citrus fruits in particular, okay? But fruits in general are very important for you to eat lots of. And people don't eat enough of them. Because if you take citrus fruits, for instance, like they'd be probably one of the best fat-burning foods you can have, okay? And especially having some in the morning, like having them as part of your breakfast. Because one thing is, they're very high in vitamin C, and this has been proven that it helps to burn fat, and it's a vital chemical that your body actually uses in the process of fat metabolism. Okay, so getting lots of vitamin C into you every day is very, very important. Okay, so citrus fruits like oranges or kiwis or grapefruit, tangerines, clementines, limes, any of those are really good to get into your system, but also foods like strawberries and apples and blueberries and blackberries and raspberries and grapes and cherries and any of those sources, they're also great sources of vitamin C as well. Okay, so you have to kind of work on what your budget is, what you like, dislike. Like I really hate grapefruit, so it's something I really avoid. I just don't like it. I love berries. Okay, I love kiwi fruits. Clementines are pretty okay. So I'll eat ones that I like or I can tolerate. And again, the great things to throw into smoothies too. Okay, but the key thing is, again, they're natural foods. You'll notice from what I'm sharing with you, most of it's about eating whole foods, natural foods, and that's what's really important. It's very important to eat natural foods, and they're so rich in vitamins and minerals. That's the fruits, lots of water content, like Tracy said a little while ago. The water content is very important, and then a lot lower in calories compared to a lot of foods. So they make a big difference to your body metabolism, and even things like reducing cholesterol. But the most important thing for our point of view in this webinar is that they'll help to burn fat because of the high vitamin C content. Okay, so eat lots of fruits and concentrate on eating some citrus fruits then as well. Let me see here, what have we got? Let's see here. Okay, Mary, I'm going to answer that question at the end, okay? That's an important question, and I just want to answer it after we've shared all the information. Ed's asking, is juice of one lemon a bit better, a bit much for the body in the morning? Is half lemon better? Again, everyone's going to be a bit individual. I'd say go for the lemon first and see how your body reacts. And if you find it a bit much in terms of any reaction, then cut it down. Okay, let me see what else we got here. So Mary said, I'm going to answer that afterwards. Organic, does organic matter? Organic is better. Like ideally, if you can buy organic, great. It all comes down to affordability, but a lot of people can't afford organic. So what I say to you, the normal fruit and veg you get, just make sure you wash it very well. If you have alkaline water, wash it in it. That's what we do. So we buy some organic, and we also then wash normal fruit and veg. Brian just saying here in terms of limiting fruit intake because of the amount of carb intake. So depending on what your goal is, and like Brian's on a lower carb plan than most people will be on right now. So, he's limiting his carbs. So in that kind of situation, if that's part of your goal, that's okay. But in terms of which worse for sugar, the more water-based ones be better ones, like melon and apple and those kind of ones, because there's less sugars in them and more water. But it's important to get some kind of fruit in, and like Brian, you use Juice Plus, so you get a lot of fruit and veg in your system anyway. Like with Juice Plus, you get 26 portions of fruit, veg, and berries, but without all the calories. Robin, good question. Should we focus on fruits that alkalize our bodies? It's a mixture in terms of fruits. Like some are alkaline, some are a bit more acidic. Get a kind of balance. I think just eating everything that's just alkaline, you're going to miss out a lot of good nutrients in the foods that are a small bit acidic. So I'd say to just eat a good variety. All right. All right, so cool. So that's that one done. Let me go on to the next one. Okay, here we go. This is where we start getting a bit controversial. This is where you're going to start hearing information that you're going to be pretty surprised at. Okay. Firstly, I'm not saying you should have these. What I'm actually saying is you need to stop these. When I said earlier on about the food industry and being a con, this is probably the one that's one of the biggest cons there is. Okay, so the whole dairy council and eating dairy and how dairy is great for fat loss. And this is where the whole low-fat revolution came from, because it all started with products like yogurt and cheese and milk. Okay, and they continue to make new low-fat and lower fat and all kinds of different things. This is what you should not be having, okay? Dairy products are terrible for fat loss. The reason is that they actually promote weight gain. Okay, the purpose, like, if you think of what the purpose of dairy is, a cow produces milk, okay, for its baby, which is a calf, just like, say, any of the females are on the call right now. You, whether you've had a baby or not already, you have the ability to produce milk for your child, okay, and it's for the child. Now, cows, goats, monkeys, gorillas, elephants do not eat or drink, human milk, and they do not drink other species or other mammals' milks either. We're actually the only species that do it, okay? The important thing is our digestive system, when we're babies, up to the age of 3, we produce hormones to break down the casein that's in it, okay? Renin and lactase. Once we get to 3 years of age, we don't produce them anymore. So we're not actually designed to have breast milk, human breast milk, after the age of 3, let alone have another mammal's breast milk after the age of 3. But we continue to have it up to the age of 80, 90, and so on. So when it's abnormal to even consume dairy products, when you think about it, again, just think about that, what I've said. Just see the image even of, like, I have images actually I've used in other webinars, where again a cow breastfeeding off a woman, and you've got just normal breastfeeding going on. It's just not normal, okay? But it's designed for the calf, who when it's born is about 200 pounds, and then after 2 years it gets to 2,000 pounds. So it's designed to create dramatic growth. And it's like even when dairy was very big for bodybuilders, again, that was a big reason for it. It helps you to build up faster, build up your muscles, all the protein, everything it had in it. And again, when I started bodybuilding 17 years ago, I used to be consuming huge amounts of dairy because of that reason. But the more I've researched it, looked into it, the more crazy dairy is, and it's something you really need to get away from, okay? From the fat point of view, because when you cut out dairy, you will notice a difference in your waistline, within a week, 2 weeks, because your body is storing toxins, because it's like a glue, okay? Your body then will have a glue inside, so when you're consuming your foods, again, the glue is grasping a lot of nutrients and toxins, and then the toxins can't get out. So the good stuff can't get processed right, the bad stuff can't get out. And like I said earlier with the water, if you can't detoxify, you're limiting your chances of results. You're limiting how much results you can actually get, okay? Also, just an aside, they say dairy is good for your bones because of the calcium and so on. It's the opposite is true. Because it's so highly acidic, it actually leaches calcium from your bones. Okay, so it's bad on so many reasons. On our fat burning point of view, it stops your body burning fat to a big degree. If you still have a little bit of fat you'd like to burn, or it's slower than you'd expect, dairy is definitely contributing. I said from toxins point of view. Okay, so dairy definitely, you will notice a huge difference. Tracy, who's in our boot camp for the last 2 or 3 weeks, she's saying here, I definitely notice a difference now. Yeah, like Tracy would start the usual consuming dairy products, but she hasn't now for the last 2.5 weeks, and she knows the difference. I'm sure everyone who's on the call, who's in our boot camps or one of our clients, or who's been on our webinars before, who's heard this information, I'm sure you felt a big difference from getting rid of dairy products. You see, actually, Sheahan, good to see you on, Sheahan. See, Sheahan's on, and Sheahan had a lot of pain in his body, and dairy products was one of the biggest contributors. When he gave it up, he had a big difference in the level of pain in his body. And that was after going to a lot of treatments and therapies and all kinds. So dairy, for many, many reasons, and I hope I've been clear on what I've said, for many reasons it's something you need to kick into touch and do it ASAP. But as well, like I said to start, you can't run before you can walk. Start moving in the right direction. If you consume a lot of dairy products right now, start consuming less dairy products, okay? And here's an idea of some of the products you can go for. This is one of my favorites, rice streams, so it's rice milk. Also, you've got, in terms of cheese, this is one that's called Cheesely. Again, depending on what country you're in, these are ones that we get. Depending on what country you're in, just get an equivalent, okay? Alpro soy, soy-based products, soy-based yogurts. Also, I know in America and many other countries, you can get like coconut-based yogurts, rice-based yogurts, lots of different varieties. And also then almond milk. Almond milk is great, or oat milk, or nut milks. Any of these are really, really good. Spelt milk too, now I see, is out in the shops here. So, make sure again to start moving in the right direction. It's really, really important to do so. Let me see here. Yeah, this is the one exactly that everyone remembers. So the Milk Marketing Board in the UK, and it was over in Ireland too, so the late 90s, then bones and bones need calcium, and that's a natural law. That's it, we were bombarded. I've noticed recently it's back on the TVs, Now, good question here. Michelle's asking, I heard the soy products create problems with producing too much estrogen. Is that true? Soya, it seems to be mainly in America. You have to be careful, okay, because Monsanto is the name of the company. They have a monopoly on the soybean production pretty much in the world, okay, especially in America. And they're big into GMOs, so genetically modified. So a lot of the soya products and soya beans and so on in America are genetically modified, which you do not want, okay, and that's getting pumped full of chemicals and hormones and affecting estrogen and so on, like Michelle has said. Outside of America, it's not so bad, but the main thing to do is look for products that are non-GMO. That's something that's really important, okay? Because soya is really good, and soya is great for females in particular because it has estrogen in it. It does increase your estrogen, which is a good thing. Robin, this is again part of the whole marketing side of things. In terms of, as a probiotic yogurt is a good replacement for this. If you're having good health and you're eating the right foods and good variety and good balance between all the different things and lots of fruits and veg in particular, you won't need any of these things. I've never ever taken probiotics, and I've never needed to take probiotics because again I've got great variety and I eat a 100% plant-based diet now. So again, it's more and more products to keep bringing out. They had their full fat milks initially, then it became low fat, 90% fat-free, God knows what else they brought out. Okay? So I would say just cut it out. Michelle, concern for boys. This is what's always thrown out to with soya. Don't be concerned. It's okay to eat a certain amount. It's different now if they're consuming soya products all day. Everything they're eating. That's a lot of soya products to put in. I eat soya to a certain degree each day, and like my son Max and so on as well. And I recommend it, but just vary it. With guys, have some soya and then rice products and nut products and stuff like that instead. Okay. So especially stay. Yeah, Brian's saying here, Alpro soya. They state in their packaging that they're non-GMO. Michelle, check out brands and see, but non-GMO is what you want. You want to see that on them. Yeah, it should be labeled non-GMO. Or say we do not use GMO-based beans or whatever. Okay? All right, on to the next one. Firstly, everyone enjoying this so far? Everyone getting something from this? Want to get a bit of water? Because it's important, everyone, that I hear from you and I know from you that you're learning something, because that's something that's very important. So let me just get some feedback here, and again, just let me see if you are listening. You haven't fallen asleep or you haven't left. Okay, good. Okay, Ed's who's saying here, as a result of your webinars, I've completely stopped dairy products. I use almond, rice and coconut milk, and I now use coconut oil instead of butter, and I love it. Great stuff, Ed. It's been great to see you make so many changes, and I can't wait to meet you face to face at my event, Formula for Success, which I'll tell you all a little bit more about later. Okay, good stuff. Thanks for a nice comment, Brian. Okay, next one. Okay, next one we got here is green tea. And green tea is fantastic for many reasons, but from the fat burning point of view, it accelerates your fat burning because it's a thermogenic. It's a natural thermogenic. Okay, so that just thermogenic means it increases thermogenesis in your body, which means raise your metabolism, which means burns more calories. Okay, so just by adding green tea to your daily plan and having a couple of cups of it a day, that's going to increase your fat burning. Okay, now of course it depends how the rest of your nutrition plan is and the rest of your exercise, but by having more green tea, it's going to increase your fat burning. And an added benefit, a big added benefit is it's loaded with antioxidants. And all these antioxidants help to, again, make you have a stronger immune system and better brain function and just fighting disease, fight any of the free radicals and bad guys that come into your body. Okay, and again, it's liquid as well, so that's going to help to make you feel fuller. The more liquid you're getting in, the better. Okay. Robin, caffeine you want to try keep 10 minimum. If you're big into coffee, keep it down 10 minimum. Don't have too much of it. Brian saying, can I make green tea more palatable? I've tried it and I had to force it down every time. My facial muscles go into positions I didn't. I didn't know were possible. That's a good. God, I didn't think anyone could find green tea that revolting. Green tea, like, it's not something you're going to go, oh yes, I cannot wait for my green tea. Okay, but it's functional. That's the first thing. Now, if you need to do something with it, you can get green tea that's got lemon flavor. Okay, or you can just put a bit of lemon into yourself, or like Ron, good to see you on Ron. You could put honey or maple syrup or something in. If you need a bit of sweetness, put it in. There's no problem. The main thing when you're putting any sweet stuff in is just limit how much. Oh, sorry. In terms of caffeine and green tea, there's minimal amounts. It doesn't have the same kind of effects that like coffee has, so that's okay. Like, I drink green tea constantly all day. I'll have a pot of green tea and have my water. Like, I'm consuming serious amounts of liquid. But again, it's all good. Yeah, Brian, perfect. So squeeze a bit of lime juice or put a bit of maple syrup, something like that is fine. Okay, good stuff. All right, next one. Okay, next one is whole grains. Okay, and when I say, grains, it's things like, your typical whole grains, or things like barley and bran, quinoa, rice, spelt, even trinder oats. Any of these are really good, okay? Because what to do is they're going to again slow the release of the sugars, okay? So when you're consuming any sugars in your body, so your sugary foods or anything that has a big effect on your blood sugars, eating these grains, eating whole grains is going to slow the release, okay? And that's where, for instance, having porridge or oatmeal first thing in the morning is a great start to the day, because you're getting in lots of good slow releasing carbohydrates, so it has sustained energy for a number of hours. Plus, because it's slow releasing carbohydrates, it doesn't have a big sugar kick, so it actually stops your body from storing any fat from the erratic blood sugars, like I said earlier on. Okay, and also there's lots of fiber in it, and the more insoluble fiber you can consume, the more that helps to metabolize fat and to process food through your body in terms of good nutrients to get to your body, the toxins to get out. Like, you should, for instance, be having bowel movements 2, 3, 4 times a day even. I typically go 3 or 4 times a day. That's what you should. A lot of people don't even go once a day. It might be once every 2 or 3 days. I've spoken to some people recently who've joined in our programs, and they go once every 6 days. Some have to take medication like laxatives to make themselves go. Now that shows their bodies in chaos, and they really need to do something with what they're consuming. It's getting down to your nutrition. So you need to start taking lots of whole grains. So it slows releasing the blood sugars, which always helps with fat burning, because the lower that stays, the better. Lots of fiber to help to break down the fat and to just make your body function properly, and increases the release of toxins out of your body. Okay? So really important, and then vary it as well. Vary your grains. Okay? Don't just eat wheat all the time. Don't just eat, wholemeal bread constantly. Vary it. Like, for instance, I'll have porridge every morning, then have muesli, which has many different flakes like oat and spelt and some wheat and barley and so on. I'll have oat cakes or rice cakes each day. I'll eat rice, pasta, like even today we had rice pasta, spelt a lot of the time. So vary your grains. You don't want to get your body too reliant on any forms of grains. Ron, you're saying here, yeah, put a bit of syrup in is no problem. In terms of, I presume the lemon drink you're on, but it's green tea with lemon. So even just cut up a bit of lemon and put it in. That'd be no problem. Just going back to green tea quickly. Michelle, you're saying, is green tea extract as a supplement an option if you can't stand the taste? Most supplements are garbage. You don't get a lot from them. Most of it is just expensive urine because it just gets excreted because it's man-made. The majority of them, we can't break it down, so it just goes out of our system. So I'd say use different things to make it taste better. And when you first taste it, doesn't taste great, but What was I saying? When you taste it first, it doesn't taste great, but you get used to it. And just keep remembering it's functional. Ron, I didn't mention about a cane lemon juice cleanse. Maybe is that from previous time you've asked me about that? If it is, just shoot me an email and we'll get that to you. Brian's asking how long between cycles of the same grain. You know, what you do doesn't have to be anything really specific, but just like even each day, don't have a reliance of wheat all the time. Vary it. Have different grains each day, each week, things like that. Yeah, Ron, send me on an email asking for that, and we'll get it to you. Okay? Okay, cool. All right, so that's whole grains and vary the grains. Okay, so slows your blood sugar release, which is very important, and also filling and lots of fiber. All right. Okay, next one. Okay, we're on to lentils or any kind of beans really. Okay, like kidney beans, aduki beans, butter beans, and so on. But lentils in particular, again, massive amounts of fiber in them. Okay, and again, the more fiber you can take into your body, the more your body's going to naturally cleanse. You're naturally detoxifying your body all the time if you eat these foods. Like if any of you had lentils, it gets you moving pretty fast. I'll never forget my first time having lentils. And it was a very cheap batch of lentils when we were camping in France and we were living as cheaply as possible. I think I lasted 5 minutes before I was running. So it has a big impact on you, and things again, it flushes it out. Now that isn't what normally happens. Remember, we probably bought the cheapest lentils ever. They may not even been lentils, but basically lentils are really good, great nutritious food, lots of great fiber, lots of great protein sources as well. Okay, so lentils again are easy to make. You can make tagines, you can make stews, you can make soups. You know, there's many different uses of lentils. So definitely get in the habit of using lentils, okay? How many people here have used lentils, have eaten lentils? Like, they're really nice. Can be in salads as well. So definitely something to try. Okay, it's a mixture. Some have, some haven't. Ron, I'll answer that again at the end. Brian said, I've eaten lentils but to set my digestive system on fire in a bad way. I presume you mean toilet-wise, or do you mean acidic in terms of acid reflux and stuff like that? Just checking here. I want to make sure I'm not deleting anything I don't want to. Okay, Ed, now you know what they look like. Yeah, soups. Not too sweet, doesn't taste too sweet. Okay, right. And make sure, you know, use them with other things then as well. Okay. Right. Okay. Next one we'll go on to, so that's good. Lentils. Next one. Chili. So hot red chilies, or it doesn't have to be red, but hot chilies, because what they naturally do, again, they're thermogenic. So when you put it into your body, it makes your body burn more calories, okay? Because it raises your metabolism. It naturally does. And you can gather that by, you know, when you eat them, you start sweating. You know, your body starts sweating and you feel your temperature rising. So it's like when you're exercising, your body temperature rises and then you start to sweat and your body's working. So they actually help to increase your metabolism. So having some chilies are great to like throw into chilies, or, you know, eat them just raw if you want, throw them into salads, you know, things like that. So chilies help a lot to burn fat too, because they do raise your metabolism. Okay? Not one of my favorites, but I can tolerate them and say something like chili. Right, next one we're going to go on to is fruits and vegetables, particularly again like berries. Berries are really good. And also dried fruits. And one, again, they're good for your body in terms of just vitamins and minerals. And the more vitamins and minerals you can take into your body, the better your body works. Okay, it works like a machine because you're taking in lots of great vitamins and minerals into your system. So make sure you have a good varied diet for that reason, good varied nutrition plan for that reason, and lots of different colors of foods. Why I also have this up though is by eating these foods, like everyone gets sweet cravings and sugar cravings, and you know sometimes it can be hard to, you know, avoid and hard to stay on track when you're getting these cravings, okay? But what you need to do is try alternatives like this. If you have an alternative like this, like dried fruit, or berries like strawberries and blackberries and blueberries and so on, that has sweetness, so that will kill the sweetness for you. Or sorry, that will kill the craving for you. So by eating the berries, and especially things like raisins and currants and sultanas, you're getting the sweetness and you're happy out. Okay? So when you feel peckish, go for a few of these. Because the most important thing is that you don't go for junk. If you go and have some sweets and chocolate and things like that, that's all junk. It's all excess calories, loads of excess sugar, chemicals, just not good for you. If it's chocolate, like again, you'll avoid the dairy usually if it's dairy products. So that's not good either. For another reason, you have erratic blood sugar levels, which will cause fat storage. By eating these natural fruit sugar containing foods, you're going to get a certain amount of sugar release, but at the end of the day, it's a lot better option. So snack on these kind of foods to help you to fight the cravings. Okay? I know a few of you do that who are in the boot camps especially. Figs is another great one, yeah? If you like eating figs, then eat figs. Perfect. Alright. Next one. This is spinach. So if you haven't eaten spinach before, and I know one person on the call had her first bit of spinach last Saturday. So well done, Niamh. So spinach is great. Spinach is great for so many reasons, like spinach and also green leafy vegetables, okay? Because they're very high in calcium, and calcium is important for your body and your bones and your whole body to work efficiently. Plus they're loaded with antioxidants and vitamins and minerals, which are great for fighting free radicals, okay? And lots of fiber. So again, the fiber, like I stressed already, is really important for breaking down fat and getting your body working properly and moving. So eat as much of these green leafy vegetables as you can. Like I use spinach quite a lot, whether it's in sandwiches, whether it's in things like pasta or stir fries or even chilies, or just eating it raw. Spinach is really, really great. And it's just so many different ways to use it, but also said the other green leafy veg too, because it's very important to have a high level of vitamins and mineral in your plan. Who's this? Jennifer. Good to see you on. I presume we just came on. I'll answer that just at the end, okay? So everyone, make sure you stay to the end. We're going to make a few announcements and stuff as well. So Jennifer, just hang on, I'll tell you that at the end. Okay, so green leafy veg, really important, okay? So that's the 10 different ones. Does everyone understand what I've said in each of them? Does everyone understand again? Like I said at the start, the promise was that I'll tell you the 10 foods that burn more fat. I'll explain to you why they burn more fat. I'll explain to you why they're important for your health. And also, you'll understand the 10 foods that you need to add to your nutrition plan. Okay? So does everyone have a few foods that they need to add? Out of those 10, tell me how many of them you need to start adding. So how many foods you need to start adding out of that? Tracy, great. Just one. Okay, 9s, 7s, 6, 7s, 4s, lentils, spinach and nuts, 8, all, 6. Good stuff. So a big variety. So, everyone has to add things, and it's really important that you do. Because, again, keep thinking of your health. It's the most important thing. There's nothing more important than your health. And this is where, again, you have the choice. I always stress at the webinars at the start and during them and at the end that, I'm giving you great information, and you can either take that information and do something with it, or you can just let it go over your head and not bother and just think, yeah, that's great, good information. Remember, knowledge is not power, it's implementation of knowledge is power. And that's something that's very important for you to realize, okay? Before we go and answer, there's more questions I need to answer that have come in. Before I answer them and any further questions you have, just give me 2 minutes just to share some information here with you. Some important information. So we're just 4.5 weeks away now from Formula for Success. And if you haven't heard of this yet, you need to hear about it. So make sure you hang on Ask questions at the end if you have any about it. And I know many of you are already booked in. I can't wait to see you. So Dublin, March 1st to 3rd is being held in the Red Cow Hotel in Dublin. Formula for Success. Basically, this is where you're going to get to experience 3 days with me, 3 full days getting coached with me. It's going to be a phenomenal experience, and I can't wait for it. And we're not just focused on how to transform your body and your health, but also the impact of them on your relationships, any kind of performance goals you have, the importance of confidence, self-esteem, the impact it has on your professional life and your career, and also on your wealth. Like, there is nothing more important than getting in the best mental and physical shape that you can get into, because the effect it has on every other area of your life is incredible. I experienced it when I became Body for Life champion in 2004, it was now. You know, the impact it had on everything, and the impact it's had since has been just unbelievable. And you could have this too. It's like there's people who maybe have great wealth, but then they don't have balance in their business life. It might be chaotic. They have terrible relationships, and they don't have good health. You know, you need to have that balance. So we're always focused on balance, getting that balance. But it all starts with getting in great health, and I stress health. We want to look good, and I want you to look good, and strive for looking good, whatever that might be. It might be like this guy and girl in the image, or it might be less, it might be more. So get what you want, but the most important thing is to get to good health, because that's really crucial. And we also have some amazing speakers being beamed in from the States, live from the States. We're going to have Dr. Marilyn Joyce join us, author of Instant Energy, also founder of Kick Cancer in a Can. And she's just an amazing woman, 5 times cancer survivor. She promotes a whole food nutrition-based plan for if someone gets cancer, or just for preventing or curing the disease. And she's had phenomenal success, but just for living a healthy lifestyle. She's got 5-minute strategies for stress relief, for exercise, for good nutrition, to wake up in the day, to end the day, and so on. And she's an expert at stress control as well. So Marilyn's just phenomenal. So can't wait to have her share her information. Also, Dr. Joe Casper, a good friend of mine, again from the States. We're going to be beaming him in from the States, order from Fire Diet, and the 22-minute workout. Again, a guy who's super, super passionate about helping people transform their bodies, minds, lives, and ultimately, again, their health. Again, why I like having these people with me is that we're all focused on health. We want you to get fast results, but long-term results. Too many professionals out there, and inverted commas experts, out there giving advice to people on how to get fast results only, short-term quick fixes, but they don't work. It's important for you to focus on fast ones, but that are focused on getting a long-term result too. Also, we're going to be doing workouts every single day. You're going to get to experience workouts from Dave Sheahan Home Workout System, and these are the workouts we do in our boot camps as well. So we're going to have some great fun doing our workouts every day. We're also going to have yoga sessions every day, heart to heart magic workshops. You know, there's going to be so many different things. And also on Saturday, it's my birthday, so I'm 21 again. So it's going to be a big party. You're going to have a big party, one celebrating the event, because I would have a party anyway because of the event, but also double celebration of being my birthday. And I want you to come in. We have people at the moment flying in from a number of different countries, including UK and US, and I'd love you to join us. So this is the link to go to book your ticket. And, you know, you'll see when you go to it, it's incredible value for 3 whole days coaching with me and then with my team. Because as well, it's not going to be a normal event team where it's just people who are interested in what the event is and just kind of, you know, free labor in a way. These are all my coaching team. So you're going to have actual coaches that are helping you throughout the event to digest information, working in their mini workshops, advising on exercise, nutrition, sleep, all the different areas. So in our breaks and after the day finishes and during the workouts and at the night times, we're all going to be there to help you. But of course, I can only do so much. I can present from the stage, but my team are going to be there to help you throughout the day to digest and implement all of the information. So it's going to be an amazing, amazing event, and 3 whole days, it's going to transform your life. And, you know, the way I'm telling people is, you know, you're going to walk out with your personal blueprint for success. You're going to walk out with a personal blueprint of exactly what you need to do for your exercise point, for your nutrition, your sleep, your mindset, and as well we'll go into how to take all of that and the impact of it and how that can be a catalyst for success in every single area of your life. So I want, you know, you're going to leave laser focus and with your personal plan. Okay? Now, I want you to attend live. I want you to be at the venue wherever you live in the world, but I appreciate for some of you, you know, it just is not possible for you to come to Dublin to the event, whether it be that you live too far away, the cost of it, timing, kids, whatever. Now, you know, do your best to get there live. If you can't get there live, we are actually going to be streaming the whole thing live. So you'll be able to attend the event from the comfort of your own home if you can't get there via live stream. And we'll be even live streaming our workouts, so you can actually do them with us too. And the cost of live stream is $97, which for those in euros, it's about 73 euro. Okay? And that's again the whole 3 days, you don't miss a second. You're going to get the whole thing. So go now and secure your ticket for either to attend the event. We've got standard VIP tickets, also we've got family tickets, and also for anyone under 18, because I want kids to start getting to these events and to hear the information they need to hear, because it's very important for kids to start, getting healthy, getting optimal health, and to stop, this obesity epidemic that's gripping the world. Okay, if anyone's any questions about the event, let me know. Type into the question box any questions whatsoever, and also any questions about anything I presented on as well. So I'm going to do a bit of Q&A now too, okay? Also I see many of you are on who have already booked your tickets. If I haven't contacted you already about the hotel, there's special rates. So just contact the Red Cow. If you need their details, just let me know. But you get special rates for being an attendee at the event. So make sure you go book your ticket or book your room, because they can only hold a limited number of rooms. All right? So let me see here. Brian, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Just type that in again for me in terms of what you mean. Shane. Right. Okay, good question. Shane's just saying here, only got a microwave and works. Any decent ways of getting a hot lunch, heat keeping in containers? All right. So if you're going to work typically at 9 o'clock or so, or leaving at 8, it could even be. You're going to eat it at about 1. So you need something that's going to keep it hot for a good few hours. So I definitely don't want you using a microwave. Microwave is a no-go. It's basically like a nuclear bomb for food. So if you've got a microwave, get rid of it. Sell it if you can, or just put a grenade in it or bury it out the backyard, because they're a total disaster. So as I said, nuclear bomb for food, that's what they are. So what you could do is you could bring soups, so get a flask like for soup. You could also, make it like a pasta soup, or you could even put pasta into the container. At least, they're designed for keeping heat in. It's not going to be like you just cooked it, but it's a way at least having some kind of heat. The other thing about it is, if you don't have access to any kind of hot food at work, and kind of soup, and maybe, a pasta or pasta soup, minestrone I think they call it actually, isn't to your liking, just focus in on eating like cold foods. All right. Again, you could have something very substantial that might be cold, but that'd be one way around, is to get a flask. Hope that helps, Shane. Oh, Brian saying about my age and my birthday. 21 plus VAT. I don't know about the VAT. I thought it was 21. So let me see what else we got here. Jennifer, so glad to see you on. You didn't get to attend most of it, but people can get a recording. If you want to get a recording of the webinar, we will be making it available in the next few days. Send an email looking for a recording to this email. If anyone puts it as a subject line, request for recording, and then in the email actually say you want a recording, okay? Let me see here. It's a good question, Michelle. My son feels a bit nauseous every time he eats. We haven't figured out a cause, but wonder if you have any recommendations. He's been this way most of his life. Okay. So he feels a bit nauseous every time he eats. Is that immediately when he eats, or is it after a little while of eating? Does it vary depending on what he eats? Okay, after a few minutes. And would he chew food? Like, would it be good to actually chew the food, or is it like nearly swallowing and inhaling the food? Like a lot of people. Like, I know I've done that a lot myself. He eats slow, doesn't eat much. Okay, it doesn't last long. He's very slim. And he's healthy. Okay, at least he's healthy. Right. Well, it says it depends. Maybe it depends what he's eating. Maybe he's making his body very acidic, and then that's making his body, again react. Because if it's acidic, it's going to cause a lot of reflux, and it's not a good environment for his body. So, but although you're a healthy family, so I'd imagine your diet's pretty good. And he said here he loves sugar, so it's important for you to cut that down anyway, for sure. Tony, great having you on. Hope to see you in Dublin at my event. Let me know if you have any questions. But love to have you at the event, Tony. Thanks for coming on the webinar. So Michelle, in terms of with your son, you need to definitely cut down his sugar because that's not going to be good for his system. I'd imagine, like as Shane's saying here actually, gut flora imbalance. See if he feels better eating alkaline-based food. So, definitely, I think acidic nature is what's affecting him. Definitely has to have some kind of impact. So even stuff like I've said about, the dairy and meat will come into that as well. Like I definitely recommend go to a plant-based diet versus having the meat-based because again it's more acidic. So you want to get rid of all acidity. So focus on getting rid of acidity, okay? Thanks, Jennifer. So I think focus on getting rid of acidic stuff, okay? So I think wipe meat into touch, get dairy out of it, and focus on eating more alkaline-based foods. Okay? Is that okay, Michelle? If anyone else has that same dilemma. Okay, so Ron, what best sources of veg protein? Vegetarian protein or plant-based protein would be nuts, avocados, soya would be based, like there'd be a lot of different products for soya. Any kind of beans, kidney beans, aduki beans, all that kind of stuff. Lentils are a good source of protein. You can get good whole food protein-based shakes as well, but make sure they're whole food, don't get your synthetic ones. That's important. Norma, I think it is. Great to see you on. Hope to see you on again next week. Remember everyone, anyone that's new, we have webinars every single Tuesday, okay? So make sure you get on every single Tuesday and please recommend it to your friends too, okay? The more people can get on, the better. I'd appreciate if you place a comment at the end of the registration page too, in terms of how you found the webinar. So there'll be different sources of vegetarian protein, right? So you try some of those. Norma, your husband doesn't eat veg, only in soup. Any alternatives? If he's really, really not going to eat any, if there's just no way he's going to eat it, then he needs to start taking a product called Juice Plus. Let me just put it in here. So this is my website for you. You can ask me questions. Because if you don't eat fruit and veg, you're in big trouble. Okay. So that's definitely one that he needs to get, okay? It's fruit and veg in a capsule form. And I've been using it now for, what is it? It's about 12, 13 years and best product I've ever used. Just make sure that is the right website again. Yeah. Okay. So check that out. Any questions you have, just ask me. So if he's, as I say, if he's genuinely not going to eat any fruit and veg, then he needs to get that. All right. Okay. Anyone got any other questions? Any questions in terms of the event? Who's going to the event? Who's definitely going? Who's booked their tickets? I know some of you have. And as I said, there's the option then to attend via live stream then if you can't actually get to the venue. It's going to be a great event now. Can't wait to share 3 amazing days with all of you who get there. And if you can't get there, make sure you get on the live stream. Okay, good stuff. Thanks for all your feedback on the webinar. Again, it's been great to get so much great feedback because that's what's important for us. We've got some great webinars coming up in the coming weeks. And just always keep looking at your emails, Facebooks, and things like that for information on the upcoming webinar, so basically every Tuesday. We'd also appreciate it if you put a comment there on that website. So that's where you registered. So when you scroll down to the bottom of the web page, scroll to the bottom, you can see a comment section, Facebook comment section. So appreciate if you comment there. Robin, thanks for the lovely comments. Hope you're coming to Dublin. Okay, good. Lots of great comments. So it's great to see the feedback, and this is what we love seeing because, again, it shows we're doing something right. And like, feel free, obviously, email in any suggestions you have about topics you'd like us to discuss. That'd be great too. So anything that where we can help you, okay? Because that's our goal, is to help you as much as we possibly can. All right, cool. Who's this? Patrick, thanks a lot. Okay, no problem, Robin. Okay, great. All right, so guys, time to sign off. Speak to you again next Tuesday, I hope. And as I said, please help spread the word about our webinars. Talk to you soon. Make sure you implement the information I've shared. It's Dave Sheahan. Talk to you next time.